So we have with us our first speaker today. First of all, a very good morning to all of you present here. We have our first speaker with us today, Dr. Neha Ramsinghani, who we just briefly introduce her. She did an MBBS from Gandhi Medical College, Bhopal, and then she went on to do her post-graduation in psychiatry from GMC Trichu. She was then, she worked as a senior resident at NSCB Medical College, Jabalpur for 3 years, is that right? For 3 years she was with us, and currently she is a PGMO psychiatry working at your hospital. And I know her personally as well. She's a very promising young budding psychiatrist, with a, and I'm sure she'll go ahead to be very successful in a professional life later. We wish you all the best. And with that, we come to, and the topic is mental health in an unequal world. Dr. Neha Ramsinghani, please.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to present a topic, mental health in an unequal world. So this is the theme also for this year's World Mental Health Day. Though the world is naturally very unequal, considering the geography, the landscapes, the vegetation, the resources, but then there are some inequalities which are man-built. We all have built an unequal world. For example, the wealthy are becoming more wealthier. This comes from the fact that last year, 82% of wealth which was earned, it just went to 1% of rich people. The poor are becoming more poorer. So this is what is man-built inequalities. If we see mental disorders per se do not discriminate. Their prevalence is equal in all races, ethnicities, countries, age groups, gender-wise. But then the question comes, why do the access to mental health care is disproportionate, or why is it unequal? 75 to 90% of mentally ill people from low and middle income countries, they are not able to access mental health care at all. The inequality itself is a risk factor for mental illness. If we see the Indian scenario, the Indian farmers, due to irrational rules, due to unfair competition, due to erratic weather, due to high debts, there is increased risk of suicide in Indian farmers. So this is a very fair example of inequality which is leading to high risk of mental illness. Then there comes disproportionate distribution of the health budget. In the 18th five-year plan, that is the budget of 2019, the budget which was initially 50 crores for mental health, the National Mental Health Program, it was reduced to 40 crores and only 5 crores was used from it. So, although there was 7% rise in the health budget, overall health budget, but the mental health got only 0.05% of it, whereas in developed countries it is 5%. If the government has made the Mental Health Act, if it has to be instituted very properly, it requires around 94,000 crores, according to a study which was published in Indian Journal of Psychiatry. But not even a fraction of it is being allocated. Then comes the stigma and discrimination. The stigma and discrimination, definitely we all know that it affects the mental health. Mentally ill people, because of the stigma present in the society, they are not able to go to the doctors. They refuse to take treatment. But the thing is, it only not affects the mental health, but it also affects their physical health in the form of, I think all of us would have personally experienced this thing. If a psychiatric patient goes to a general OPD, he is just ignored. Even if he is complaining of any physical illness, he is referred back to psychiatry without even examining it. So I would like to convey this message to the doctors from other branch that please don't ignore. Second is the discrimination will lead to difficulties in educational opportunities, the job opportunities, even their family members and loved ones face discrimination. Then the very recent COVID-19 pandemic, it has even highlighted this inequality in mental illness. We all know that all acute illness in COVID-19 was vigorously treated everywhere. But what about the later psychological effects? Were they really addressed? The people coming with post-viral depression and anxiety were though addressed, but there are very other grave psychological effects like the family members undergoing the process of bereavement from the death of their loved ones. Who will address their bereavement? Many of them go into complicated grief, depression, adjustment disorders. Nobody is being addressed. Second is the economic impact. Because the reason of economic impact, the financial losses, the job insecurities, you have to pay the loan amounts every month. Because of that, people definitely were going into depression, but I don't think they are being addressed. Then comes the physical distancing. Because of physical distancing and social isolation, I think everybody would have personally experienced that their family members somewhere in Mumbai, Bangalore, they were locked there for 2 months, 3 months during the period of lockdown. And they were really suffering. Recently, one patient came to me and he was like, he was in Hyderabad for 2 months in an apartment which has 500 flats and he was all alone there. He used to open the doors and sleep. And he just came in Victoria only with symptoms of full depression and anxiety. In the lower strata, domestic violence. The males of the family used to stay at home, and due to addictions and other factors, the females of the family were experiencing domestic violence. So definitely, they were having psychological impact on them. And lastly, the closure of educational institutes, they led to lot of psychiatric problems in children, temper tantrums, behavioral problems, mobile addiction, internet addiction. And I think we have not addressed all these issues post-COVID. So COVID has polarized the world and it has accentuated the inequality. And mental illness, people suffering from mental illness, they just lost their regular follow-ups. Those coming from very far off because of all closure of transport system, they were not able to come for the follow-up. So there is a question that in PHCs and CHCs, I think drugs for diabetes, hypertension, fever, everything is available. Why not psychotropics? Like if we can make those drugs also available, I think there is definitely an issue of budget, right? So patients who are maintaining well, they can take their regular drugs at the PHC and CHC level itself. They need to come after 3 months or 6 months, so they won't lose follow-up. So the question is what to do. Government has made lot of provisions, and as I said, the Mental Health Act 2017, it has given lot of provisions. First is under section 18. It comes right to access mental health to each and everyone, which includes that there should be IPD and OPD services for psychiatric patients, emergency services, availability of psychotropic drugs, availability of rehabilitation centers. But then again, the question comes, where is the budget? How can we make them available, all these things? Second is under section 21. It tells about the equality and non-discrimination of psychiatric patients, that psychiatric illness should be equally treated as physical illness. There should be a provision of ambulance services for even psychiatric patients, and I think this is being definitely followed. Our postgraduates and students would be able to tell that many patients are coming by 108 nowadays, and they definitely help those patients. Second is the emergency facilities should be equally available for psychiatric patients also, and the insurance companies should include a clause of mental illness also when we are taking the medical insurance. And last is section 27, which tells about right to legal aid, that is free legal services should be available for people suffering from mental illness. So this is all theoretical, comes under the Mental Health Care Act, and government has formulated this. But what has to be done practically is, I think all doctors have to come together and address this issue on inequality. Like as sir told, that first the patient goes to a physician, never comes to a psychiatrist. So, or at PHC or CHC level, he sees a MO. So, the training of those doctors is very important, so that the signs and symptoms of mental illness does not go missed, and there should be a timely referral for those patients to a specialist, so that they are not devoid of their services. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Neha, for a wonderful presentation. You really brought about some very pertinent aspects of mental health and how it's being neglected in our country. So thank you very much. You dealt with it wonderfully.